All right, everyone. Welcome back for another video, and the one today is going to be a doozy. So go ahead and sit tight. First and foremost, I want to go over some technical analysis, basically, in brief, of everything that I hold, as well as cover some news pieces on the back end. So let's jump into it. Obviously, first and foremost, we have Bitcoin off to another great day. Zooming in, what do we got going on for the day? Looks like what, 6%, something like that. Yeah, 6-7%. So just want to say, this little move we have going on right here. Basically it's kind of a parabolic move at this point. You basically have two bases, and what it's kind of starting to look like to me is this thing here, just in smaller form. So when we had this first breakout last year, we basically had the same thing, right? Just larger. One base here, another base. It ran us all the way up to 14,000, and then that was it for the year. So I think that we're going to see something similar right now. 1-2 bases, one more push higher, might peak out around 19,000 something. I think that this is going to have to come to an end soon, and that we'll get a pullback on the back end of this as well. Last time in this little formation, besides this dump in March, this pullback really kind of bottomed around the second base. So that would put us right at something like this, 15,000 down to 14,000 area. I wouldn't be surprised if we even wicked down into the 13s personally. Typically in Bitcoin bull cycles, when you get a little parabolic like this, you have a 30 to 40% pullback. So don't be surprised. Once again, I could be wrong. Could just break 20,000 and make a new high this year. I would just be surprised. All right. So that's it for Bitcoin. Moving on to my favorite way to get Bitcoin exposure. As you can see, why today Riot is up 37%, whereas Bitcoin is up 5, like we said, 6%. So yeah, it's more volatile. That's what you're going to get out of Riot, but it's going to have higher upside potential as far as percentage gains. Someone asked me in the comments on a few videos back why it seems like I'm bullish on Riot or Marathon Patent, but not on Bitcoin. That's not true. All right, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, at least over the next few years. I just see Riot and Marathon Patent as the best way, percentage-wise, to get Bitcoin exposure. That's it, nothing more. I'm speculating this market, and I think that Riot and Marathon are going to be, they, as you can see, every single day Bitcoin's up. Riot and Marathon are typically up more. So there you have it. That's exactly why I'm here. Let me try and get this bottom wick for you, though. Let's see how much Marathon is up, or Riot's up on the year. So that's not all the way down, but basically. Hold on. All right, close enough. So Riot is up close to 1,000% since the bottom in March. See what I'm saying? All right, and then Bitcoin is up here about 340, 350%. All right, so it takes time, but Riot and Marathon, they move faster. Okay, first and foremost, wanted to show you here. I think this is going to cool down on this Riot move. You don't typically follow up a 37% daily move with more of the same, right? So I would not be surprised to see a pullback down to like the $5 area. Right now we're at what, 565. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised. And I highlighted here basically the red bars are going to be like the major resistance areas that we needed to get through. This dates all the way back to 2017 and 16 even for Riot. you can see it just has continued to struggle getting over like that 450 mark. And then today we just blasted through it. I expect that to hold. And obviously our next resistance area is going to be right here at like $6. So I think it's going to be a bit before we get through that. I don't think it will happen this year. But, you know, with Bitcoin at all-time highs, whenever that happens, that's the push that I will expect Riot to get through on. So Marathon Patent, kind of the same thing. Didn't really get as big of a move today. It's only up 22% instead of 37. I mean, big deal, right? But yeah, for Marathon, I think that it's kind of going to be smooth sailing once we break over kind of the $4 area. So still have a ways to go for Marathon. But they're both going to move as Bitcoin goes, and they're both going to move faster percentage-wise than Bitcoin. So there you have it. That's why I trade the mining stocks. Not to mention, my options, I think, for Riot are up like 60% today, which is crazy. But it makes perfect sense, right? Because Riot is already trading around 568, and my option contracts are for $5, and they don't expire until the end of next year. So I'm already in the positive, and I have over a year before I have to either exercise or sell them or whatever I choose to do. So that's why I bought them. It's good to see that it's working out as I expected. But I just thought $5, that's ridiculously low for what's about to happen with Bitcoin. I don't know who wrote those calls, but that wasn't a smart choice. All right, moving on. XRP, the one that just drags down my portfolio. I've had a couple of friends and family ask me. Obviously, I'm always telling people XRP. My story is not going to change. I'm a firm believer. At this point, I want to show you too here. I mean, look at this. How far are we from all-time highs? So we still have a ways to go. And let's see. So we can still gain 1,000% in XRP to get to all-time high. All right. And I thoroughly believe that it will not only hit all-time high around close to $4, but pass it. That's why I've stuck with it. Not only that, but because almost all the main employees that have worked there or been on the board or something have worked for the Federal Reserve, or they have ties to the government in some way or another. I mean, they're just not a normal startup, okay? And they were just shown to be the 4th most valuable startup company in the world right now, with their valuation at around 10 billion. And I expect that to skyrocket as XRP moves up. So I'm sticking the course. There's a reason that this little startup in California has hired people and worked with governments and institutions all around the world, and is the 4th most valuable company, startup company in existence. There's a reason behind that. The XRP price, I feel like, is just a distraction short term. So I'm holding. I'm not quitting on it. But to show you here in this, once again, in the red area, you can see that this has been a major area of resistance. We have 1, 2, 3 points that we've touched it recently, up around the 33, 34 cent area. We'll see if we can get over that. I'm not sure we will this time. It might take a few months, but we will eventually. And I think that that's when it's in the clear and the price will take off. So gonna take some time, but over the past few days, I think XRP is up like 20-something%, and today it's up like 5%. So it's doing all right. For me, I'm staying patient with it. I'm not going to chase all this other stuff. I've built my portfolio knowing that some things will move while others don't, and I'm fine with that. So same thing can be said with Stellar. Pretty much the charts look very similar. Stellar and XRP, for those of you who don't know, created by the same founder, one of the founders. But anyway, looking here, I mean, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 points of resistance there at like this 9 cent range. Broke above it earlier, this year in August, September, couldn't hold support. Now we're back under, and it's once again resistance at 9. I think if we break above that, we're going to run up to this 15-cent area is where I see like the next stop. So I think that will be pretty quick once we can get above 9-10 cents. So we'll see how it all plays out. Once it gets over 15 cents for Stellar, I think that it's off to the races once again. And moving on to Ethereum. So Ethereum, one thing I wanted to show you guys is I put a few price targets back in June, just where I thought we would end up. And let's see here, over here on the side. So you can come, if you follow me on TradingView, I don't do much posting there, but I do every now and then. So as you can see, I posted this in June, where I thought the price was headed, and you can play it out to see how accurate it's been. Well, it wicked right into the circle I put for September of 2020, which I thought was pretty cool. Now it looks like we are indeed right up against this resistance point right around the 480 mark, 482. I think if we break through here, it will definitely be a sharp move up to $900-ish area, and I would not be surprised to see that happen this year still. So we'll see with Ethereum. I think we could be headed up to the 900s soon. All right, I got another one for you, Elastos. I also did a little prediction here with Elastos. I feel like whoever saw this is just toying with me and pushed the price. So I put the circle here, watch. You can see it almost immediately after I posted this, it runs from $1.40 all the way up to over $3, right where I put the circle. Filled into the circle, and now it just has gotten beat down again since then. I don't know how that worked out, but that's what happened. So I don't think we're on target anymore for my $5 area by the end of the year. I thought it might be higher than by then. It didn't hold any support off that move in August. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna make $5, but Elastos honestly looks like a great buying opportunity right now. I put this horizontal line here to show you that's where the major support has come for the price on Elastos. And not only that, we have like this descending wedge that looks like it could definitely break out. So Elastos looks good from a technical standpoint for me. I've showed you before, the fundamentals are there. This project just does not get the price action. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I will hold this one to 0. I don't care. I've been so involved with Elastos up to this point that it is, I'm married to it. All right, so moving on. Tezos. Not much to say with Tezos. Not much action with the price. But once again, I think we have a bottom in here. And I think from here on we'll continue up, especially as the market continues to gain momentum. Tezos will have its day, right? Same thing with Cosmos. Not much to say other than it's definitely been consolidating in this area. I think we definitely have a local bottom around $5, right where we're at, $5.17 now. I think from here we only move up. So Cosmos looking good. And then for the technicals, last but not least, have Hedera Hashgraph. Not much to say about this chart, not much price history to go off of or anything, but to me it just looks like it's got its bottom in right around this 3-cent area, right around where I bought at, right around where it started at. And besides that, the dip early the beginning of this year, it's right there again. So I think we only move up from here for Hedera, and I have a few news pieces to cover about Hedera on the back end of this as well. Moving on to the news. So just a few fun news pieces today, besides a couple things I want to talk about concerning Hedera. But obviously, of course, when the price starts to move up, everyone's got their price predictions coming out. For some reason, Mike Novogratz has decided that his target is 65,000. I don't know where these people come up with this stuff, to be honest. But for those of you who don't know, this guy is a billionaire. He's heavily into Bitcoin. He only talks about Bitcoin publicly, but his company, Galaxy Digital, I believe it's called, is invested in Ripple, the company itself. So he'll tell you Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin on the surface, but he won't talk about his own investment in Ripple, which I personally think there's a reason for that, right? Keeping it a secret, maybe? Who knows? All right. But anyway, he says that the network effect has taken over. I see tons of new buyers and there's very little supply. It's an easier trade here than it was at 11K. So yes, I say buy it. And this was in response to this Macy Williams. I guess she's an actress. She said, should she long Bitcoin? She only got a response of 47% yes and 52% no. So the average person on Twitter is saying no. See how this all plays out. But Mike Novogratz says it's going to 65,000 after it hits 20. Moving on. Bitcoin. This is important. Bitcoin has hit all-time highs against numerous world currencies. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but they go on to talk about down here how crypto's pioneering asset has also broken its previous high ever price level relative to Brazil's real, Turkey's lira, Argentina's peso, Sudan's pound, Angola's kwanza, and Zambia's kwacha, as well as Russia's ruble. Sorry if I butchered those names. I'm not familiar with the currencies, or countries hardly. All right, but so everyone's focused on the dollar because the dollar is basically the world's reserve currency as of now, right? So, but as far as all these other countries, which is important, significant, unless you live in the U.S., right? If you look outside the bubble of the United States, Bitcoin is crushing all these other currencies, and it's very telling for the future that we're headed to, right? I don't know who the winners are going to be. It could be a basket of winners. Bitcoin could continue to succeed on the store of value narrative. Ethereum's up to this point got the smart contract battle in the bag. XRP, Stellar, they're both super fast and efficient. They are proven to be the best ones to execute what it is they're designed to do, which is move money fast and efficiently, right? So I think they all have kind of found their niche and their place. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I think actually these all can kind of benefit each other. You could send a Bitcoin transaction on the XRP ledger. You could tokenize Bitcoin on Ethereum, as we've already seen. You could tokenize Bitcoin on Stellar, I believe, as well. So, all it's going to come down to is that interoperability, the word we always keep hearing. But all right, moving on to the next one. Another funny price story. So Bitcoin is up 375% since Peter Schiff accidentally called the exact bottom. Go Peter. He's a great contrarian indicator. So if you trade the Peter chart, you'll do just fine, apparently. So he said, at the rate my lost Bitcoin are losing value, soon the difference between having Bitcoin and not having any Bitcoin will be too small to matter. So this was his response to apparently he tried to blame it on the wallet he was using. He's trying to say that something happened with it, or he said the wallet itself forgot his password. Not that he forgot the password, but that the wallet to his Bitcoin forgot the password. So I don't know how that all played out. Not sure he ever found it. But interesting enough, he's obviously, if you don't know who Peter Schiff is, follow him on YouTube, and he does great podcasts about the economy and how honestly both parties are dysfunctional, and talks about things that we actually need to pay attention to, and how all this money printing is going to cause a lot of inflation. But anyway, Peter Schiff has been a major gold bug forever, and that's just because he doesn't trust the governments, he doesn't trust the printing, and honestly, he's been proven right over time. Gold has actually outperformed the S&P 500, I think, over the past 10 or so years up to this point, I believe. Getting a little off track, sorry about that. But anyway, so Peter is a gold advocate. What I think it is he's really like a crypto bug. He just doesn't know it. I think he was born in the wrong generation. Because if he was born in, our generation, I think he would be extremely into crypto. He understands that they are both kind of trying to fight the same battle. They're just trying to do it differently. Just don't think gold is going to have that use case of being the global currency. It already had its shot, and that didn't work out for numerous reasons. Another interesting thing, though, about Peter is that his son, Peter Schiff, you can follow him on Twitter as well. He is actually, interested in crypto and Bitcoin. So it's like they're, I don't know, are they hedging against each other's future? Who knows? We'll see. But Peter's interesting. He understands economics and so on. So go check him out on YouTube and listen to his podcast. All right. 3 reasons Bitcoin price hit 17K, marking a new parabolic uptrend. So they say they're going to give us 3 reasons, and the 3 factors are a new parabolic trend, resilience above 16K, and Bitcoin absorbing whale selling pressure. What? I just thought this article was stupid. Because they say that the 3 reasons for Bitcoin price hitting 17K, marking a new parabolic uptrend, is that 1, it started a new parabolic uptrend. Okay. I think people think too hard into this. Up to this point, guess what? Over time, Bitcoin goes up and then it goes down. All right. Stop overthinking it. We started a new uptrend. Very obvious. We are in a new uptrend. The time to accumulate was 2019 bottom and this little dip that we had in March, and throughout the entire process, you would be in green if you just dollar cost average. If you just bought and bought and bought on a daily or weekly basis, you would be at an all-time high. Because as you see here, these moving averages are starting to break past previous point. This, the 200, I believe, was at. It peaked around 14,000, so the moving averages are about all-time high. So that's how dollar cost averaging works. Basically, your portfolio will look like this line through the middle. But anyway, Bitcoin went from $200 to $20,000 in a 2.5-year period. That sounds like something due for a pullback, right? We got the pullback, we bottomed out, and now we're going back up again. It's pretty much that simple. It's not because a new parabolic trend, resilience above 16K, and Bitcoin absorbing whales selling price. I don't think any of that matters. I think it's just because we're going back up. All right. Don't think too hard about it. Just get some exposure. Last but not least, the stuff I wanted to actually discuss with you. Hedera Hashgraph to be used for crowdsourced airstrike warning app in Syria. All right. Sentry is an app developed by Hala Systems that has been providing civilians with a crowdsourced and sensor-driven early warning system against airstrikes during the protracted civil war in Syria. So, first and foremost, if you're listening to this and you live in Syria, sorry to hear that. In the United States, everyone's fighting about a rigged election. I hope it doesn't end up to some kind of civil war here, but who knows what the future holds. I just say that, I have to be thankful that I'm not worried about having to download a phone to tell me phone app to tell me when airstrikes might be coming to my area, right? So a couple things to be thankful for today. All right. Sentry now issues an average of 140 early warning signs each day, giving citizens between 7 and 10 minutes advance notice of potential dangers. Right? Until now, Sentry has used the Ethereum blockchain to provide a distributed and secure means of verifying and storing the metadata attached to these various data inputs, including their geotags and timestamps. Now, Hala System found Ethereum probabilistic, not definitive consensus, smart contracts with highly variable fees, and slow confirmation times unsuitable for their use case. The Hedera consensus service, the company claims, provides a more efficient, immutable chain of custody for the data that is input to the system. In addition to its technology partnership with Hedera Hashgraph, Hala Systems is working with the United Nations, United Kingdom, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, the United States State Department, and other foreign ministries. All right, so I just wanted to talk about this because it seems that the theme for Hedera Hashgraph is that it's going to be used by governments, government entities. It keeps getting mentioned in cases like this, and it's also important to note that this app is claiming, this company is claiming that Ethereum's consensus mechanism doesn't work for them and that Hedera is way better. So a couple important themes to continue to watch as we move forward. Ethereum definitely has competition. Still trying to get out that proof of stake. Honestly, its success totally depends on that. So we'll see how that all unfolds. But meanwhile, you have apps that are providing airstrike notices to people, which sounds fairly important, moving away from Ethereum and onto Hedera Hashgraph. Similar things like this, or reasons like this, is why I hold Hedera and Tezos, just a couple other smart contract platforms that have been mentioned by governments that aren't Ethereum. So it's good to hedge, right? And this is one of my hedges. So Hedera is in the portfolio for reasons like this. Last but not least, this document out here by the Air Force Institute of Technology directly mentions Hedera Hashgraph. So you can come here, search for it. Number 5, Hedera Hashgraph DAG DL structure. So they talk about the difference between Ethereum and other proof of work, proof of stake mechanisms versus the DAG structure of Hedera, and how it's better, basically. So talk about using it too at this Air Force Institute of Technology. So once again, like I said, government ties. When it comes to betting, essentially is what we're doing in this speculative market, I am going to continue to place my bets on the projects that are in the room with governments, because that's where the money comes from, and ultimately you're trying to pick the winners. So don't bet against the ones that are working with the guys that have the tanks. Kind of my thesis there. All right, so hope that was an interesting one. Once again, as always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The cashless society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The cashless society, the cashless society.
The cashless society.
The cashless society is now approaching.
The cashless society.